everyone, it's Justine and I'm super excited to bring you a video today showing off the stamp here from Concord and Ninth. There's 3 of them in total that are turnabout stamps, and these are really unique to the industry and the first time I've seen something like this, and I'm pretty excited about it. There's also one that features dots, but I don't have that one yet. So I'm going to show you how these work because they stamp a little bit different than your standard stamps. So to get started, I'm going to show you that on the back of these stamps, it comes with a little bit of an instruction guide. So for the triangles, it shows you what it's like to build up the color, and you can choose to add as many layers as you like. For the Oh Hello stamp, it shows you how you're going to properly line up the stamp. So let's get started because I'm going to explain how it works and how to line it up in case you're more of a visual person and want to see it done in action, so you can follow along with me. You're going to take the Oh Hello stamp off of the plastic acetate, and you're going to place it exactly as I have it shown in the MISTI and line up the side and the bottom. You'll see on the instruction guide in that small box in the right hand side that the high stamp has to be in the middle, right side up. Then I'm going to take a ruler and I'm going to measure in a diagonal at 5.5 up and 5.5 across, and put a mark with a permanent marker in the center of my stamp. Then I'm going to go on and make a template. So I'm grabbing a 6x6 sheet of white paper, and I'm going to measure from one diagonal to the other and put a line with a pencil. This sheet of paper you can use over and over again if you haven't created a template for this before, and you never have to do this step again. So where those 2 lines intersect in the middle, you're going to put a dot. And that's how you're going to line up your stamp each time. So again, save this template for the next time. So all you have to do is put the template in, grab your stamp, and line up the 2 dots you made, one on the cardstock and one on the stamp. And you're good to go every time. So be sure to save this template. I already have one made, so what I'm going to do is actually pick up my stamp using the MISTI, flip over my cardstock, and use the other side. Now comes the fun part. You can pick out your first color of ink. I'm using Turquoise Sea by Gina K Designs, and I'm going to ink up my stamp using this. This is kind of one of those things where I wish I had the full-size pad because it probably would have went a lot quicker. However, mini inks are fine as well. Now because this is the first time I've ever stamped the stamp, it needs to be seasoned a bit, so I just stamped it twice using my MISTI. When you're finished stamping, you're going to clean off your stamp either with a baby wipe or a stamp chamois, whichever you prefer to use. And then I'm going to take my cardstock and just like a clock, I'm going to shift it a 1/4 turn. And then I'm going to ink up the stamp again using a different color ink, and I'm going to stamp it, and it's going to stamp on the white parts of the cardstock. Then I'm going to go ahead and fill in any areas that didn't stamp well, turn it around again a 1/4 turn, and add the next layer. And you're going to do this 4 times with 4 different colors. I used Passionate Pink and Tomato Soup, and then I went in with some Lemon Drop. Now there was a little bit of residue from the orange ink I just used, so it turned out to just be a yellowy orange, but I actually really like the way that turned out. And now you have some really awesome background paper that you can use and cut up in any way to make some really great cards. Now for the triangle stamp, this one is a little bit more important that you get the center point exact. So again, the stamp itself measures 5 by 5, so I laid my ruler across at about 5.5 inches on the diagonal, and then I went in with my permanent marker and made a dot in the middle of the stamp. Now you're going to grab your template again that you created at the beginning of the video, slip it into your MISTI in the corner, and line up the 2 dots. It's as simple as that. Then you're going to close your MISTI lid so you can pick up the stamp, and the stamp will not move for the rest of your stamping time. Before we get started, I wanted to show you how I store these stamps. So I have the large size stamp pockets, and I store the instruction guide and the stamp set at the very front of my pocket, and then I slip the template into the back for safekeeping. So now you have everything in one little guide, and I labeled it using my label maker. So the next one, I'm going to use the exact same colors so that I show you exactly what's going to happen. I am going to speed up this part of the video though so that it doesn't get boring. So I'm going along with this turquoise sea, and this one here is a solid stamp. And again, because it's the first time I'm using this stamp, I'm not expecting it to stamp perfectly the first time. But because you're using the MISTI, it's absolutely not a problem because all you need to do is go over the ink again, and you just need to make sure your cardstock is in the corner of that MISTI. You're going to turn your cardstock again and stamp with the pink one. And then you're going to turn your cardstock again and stamp with the orange one. Be sure not to forget to clean your stamp each time. So as you can see, everything is lining up perfectly, and you can go ahead and clean and then go ahead with the yellow and the final color. You could have also left it the way it was, and you can see you get some white areas in the cardstock as well. So for each one of those, I ended up going in and stamping it twice on there to get some really vibrant colors because I didn't want any sort of white or fading in the triangles. So now you can see just how amazing these background stamps are. So remember, just a quarter of a turn and lining up those stamps with those points you created and keeping your template handy will just create amazing cards. It may take a little bit of work at the beginning to get these points lined up. However, the results are worth it, and in the end, if you want to go and make cards with these ever again, you have your template ready and it takes 2 seconds to line up. Now, if your plan is not to create a 6x6 card, which I doubt many of you will do, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go cut these down using some stitched rectangle dies from Simon Says Stamp. So I'm just going to place it in the middle where I like where the stamping is, and then I'm going to go ahead and run these through my Big Shot so I can cut them down to panels for my A2 cards. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down using some Tombow Mono tape runner, and I am going to glue these onto 2 card bases so I have a nice white frame around it. Then I'm going to just simply embellish the cards very quickly here. So I've done some die cutting, and I die cut the Hello dies from Concord and 9th. These are from the same company that made the background stamps. And I'm going ahead, and this comes all in one stamp, or one die set, so I cut them in white and black cardstock so that I could lay them down on top of each other and create a frame for my die. Then I'm grabbing the Heartstrings heart die, and I am stamping the Happy Birthday Beautiful from the Beautiful Words stamp set, also from Concord and 9th, and just simply stamping that there and adding some embellishments. That heart die there is really fun, and I'm going to have a video next week as well using that die, and I've had videos in the past using that die. It's a die that I've used over and over again, and I'll link to those at the end of my video. After I finished stamping, I just simply added some Nuvo jewel drops to my card to add a little bit of interest. I really hope that I've clarified how to use these turnabout stamps and maybe even sparked your interest in them. I'll have all the supplies listed below in the video description, as well as on my blog with more pictures and close-ups of these cards. They're super fun to make, and the possibilities are endless with the color combinations you could use. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and I will have a video in a few more days out for you, also featuring this Heartstrings die. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, you can go ahead and click on my face. You can look at my blog and all the details by clicking over on the left, or I have 2 more video suggestions for you if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching.